Tales from Retail. I work at a large grocery store on the East Coast, in the wine and beer section. We have 2 to 3 types of wine open for customers to sample every weekend. Yesterday a customer and his wife showed up at the tasting bar asking where sangrias are stocked. They then proceeded to sample the 2 featured wines, both of which were fairly dry. They hemmed and hawed and dawdled, blocking other customers from the bar, while explaining every reason they hated said wines, then inquired if we carried mead. I explained that yes we do, it is on the shelf with the dessert wines. The man scoffed and said I would hardly refer to the oldest alcohol known to man as dirt wine, as if I was the idiot. I very sweetly said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I said dessert wine." Eventually the couple loudly declared the wines terrible, and the man made a very snide comment that we should mark out some oyster crackers and give them to people in between samples as a palate cleanser. I just smiled my internally I am strangling you smile and thanked him. "Sir, this is a grocery store, not a vineyard. You're trying wine for free and complaining because it's not the cheap sweet stuff you normally like." I'm a cake decorator, so dealing with not so nice customers is what I do, and today I was ready for them, but a woman today really made me mad. She wanted to order a cake out of our cake book. Great, fine, sure. I ask her which one, she says Mickey Mouse. Great. That's super easy to order because it's licensed, meaning we can't change anything on it besides adding a name on it. I flip to that page in the book and her face goes sour. I don't like the grass, can I change that? Me, unfortunately Mickey Mouse is a licensed design, so I can't change anything on it. What do you mean you can't change anything? They've done it for me for 20 years. Me, I'm sorry ma'am, but I'm here now, and if I change anything I will get a $10,000 fine. See, look, and I proceeded to point to the message in the book that says we can't change designs that are licensed. I don't care about what it says, can I order from someone else? You're not being helpful. Me, well, I'm the only one here today and it won't matter if you order from someone else, they'll tell you the same thing. No they won't, because they've done it for me before. Me, who did? You must know them personally if they're gonna risk getting a fine that big. You just lost a customer, I'll go somewhere else and they'll do it for me. Me, okay, I hope you have a better day. And that was that. She didn't get her way and she tried to lie, but it's okay, I still had a great Sunday. When I worked at a dry cleaners, I had a guy, Kyle, call in and say that he's missing some clothes. That's a bad thing to happen, but it happens often and we have ways to fix it. So I got his phone number and looked into his account and see that everything was picked up. I let him know this and tell him, I'll look at the camera. I get that info and go to the camera. Yay, I helped him before. I look in the camera and I definitely scanned and handed him everything. He didn't leave anything behind. Weird. I print out the details of each bag. 5 per bag, and he had like 7 bags. I looked at when he originally dropped off his clothes and see that the details are correct and he definitely picked up everything he brought in. So now, I'm confused. I get the phone, and I ask him what the garment was and he says it, and I looked at the camera and see no such thing. It was like a blue hoodie and I think a brand shirt or something, but very different from everything else. So I tell him, I don't see anything you dropped off that matches your description. He was suddenly mad and yelling at me. Are you calling me a liar? And that he knows very well that he dropped it off. I told him that I was looking through the camera and I don't see anything. Then, he angrily says, I'll be there in 5 minutes with all the clothes I picked up yesterday. Sure enough, he arrives with all of his clothes, and sure enough, I had to help him. My manager liked to hide during crisis and left me to fend for myself. I wasn't even a manager. I got to the computer. He was fuming. He smacked the table like, count my damn pieces. Sure enough, it matched the receipts on my computer, and I turned the computer to show him and printed each one to match the numbers. Then, I offered to show him the camera. He agreed. So I write down the times again, and headed to the office with him behind me. I pulled up the drop-off and show him. I even put the printed receipts in the order that are counted on the screen. No missing clothes. Everything was counted correctly. Now, there is no denying that I was telling the truth. This is when my manager decides to make his appearance. My manager just steps to the side seeing I had taken care of this customer. So he says, "Get that smug smile off your face before I smack you." I'm sorry sir for having a permanent smile on my face, apparently because I wasn't even smiling. I just looked at my manager with a confused glance and he mirrored it. The guy left and I explained everything to him. Then, he laughed about how I was threatened for no reason. All my co-workers know that my face is basically a resting smiley face. Never saw the customer again. Became a joke to my manager. He would always tell me to get that smile off your face or I'll smack you. I sold a customer a TV that lasted 3 years and broke down about 3-4 months out of warranty. They wasn't happy with the reply they got from the manufacturer, saying they would have to pay to get it fixed, so they came to me. So I spoke with the manufacturer sales rep and he said he would get back to me. Got back to me a few days later saying they would cover the labor, but they had to pay for the parts and they had to take the TV to the repairer. Spoke to the customer and she said, "I'm not driving across town to get it fixed, can't they come to my house to fix it?" I said, "No, that's the best deal you will get." Didn't hear anything for a few days, then I saw a post on Facebook complaining no one would fix her TV and did anyone know who could fix it for cheap. The kicker in this, it was my sister. I'm posting this on mobile, so sorry about any formatting problems and all of that. This has happened to me numerous times throughout my retail career, but it happened again today to a colleague while I was standing nearby the till. Customer tries to pay for something that we'll say is £10 with a gift card that is not one of our company's own gift cards, but is instead one purchased from somewhere else and is accepted in a wide variety of stores. To process a purchase with one of these cards, the card has to either have the exact or an exceeding balance on it, so in this case it would have to be £10 or more, or we, the cashiers, have to type in the amount of money we are taking off the total with the gift card if the whole transaction cannot be covered by it. My colleague swipes the card through and it comes back saying declined, meaning that the card does not have sufficient funds to cover the whole transaction. "Oh, I'm sorry, it's saying the card is declined, so there's not enough to cover the £10 on there. Do you know how much money is on the card?" Customer: "No, it was a gift. Can't you just tell me how much is on there on the till?" Colleague: "I'm afraid I can't do that as it isn't one of our company gift cards, there isn't a function on the till to tell me." Customer: "Well, can't you just take whatever's on the card off?" Colleague: "I have to type in the amount that I'm taking off with the card. I can just keep trying different amounts until we get the right one." Customer sighs angrily: "No, it's just a waste of time. It's ridiculous that you can't just take the money off." The customer then paid for the transaction using a different method of payment and walked off muttering to her husband. While yes, it would make it easier if tills could read how much is on these cards, that would also have to mean that every branch of stores that accept these cards across the country would have to have the technology to do so. But the cards also have numbers on the back that you can call to find out the balance. But yet again, it's always the cashiers who get the stick for it because a system doesn't work a certain way and we're supposed to be mind readers, or in this case, human card readers.